Everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review, and today we're going to take a look at the new DC Comics Multiverse Catwoman from Batman Returns. This 3 1/4 inch figure from Mattel is part of, I believe we're on the 4th wave of these now. This figure also comes in the same wave as the Christopher Reeve Superman figure. And it has started to hit shelves. And like with all the figures in the Multiverse line, this comes in your basic standardized card back with the orange and yellowish colors. You've got the DC Comic Multiverse title up at the top with the Batman Return symbol, and then you've got a picture of Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman and the Batman Returns name down towards the bottom along with Catwoman. The figure's clearly displayed in the packaging so you can see what you get, and then up at the top it tells you it's highly detailed and authentic and for adult collectors. Then on the back you've got the same picture of Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman again. You've got a little bio about the Multiverse line and then some stats for Catwoman. And then it shows you the other figures being released. We've got Batman Returns Penguin, Superman 2 General Zod, and Superman Christopher Reeve Superman. Okay, so let's get this figure open and take a look at what's inside. So here's a look at the figure outside of the packaging. And for the most part, I think Mattel has done a decent job capturing the likeness of Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman with this figure, at least in this small scale. Obviously the face is mostly covered by the mask, so you know it's not like you could really tell it's Michelle Pfeiffer under there or not, but it pretty much looks like what I recall from seeing in the movie. She's got the bright red lipstick, blue eyes. She's got lining on her mask because she basically, if I remember correctly, stitches this costume together herself. She's got some zippers on the front, and then she's got some rips throughout the costume like you would see in the movie. Especially like down here on her leg and on her backside. So overall, you know, it's not like stupendous sculpting, but again, for this scale of figure, I think Mattel has done a decent job. Basically, where this figure lacks is in the articulation, and we'll get into that in just a moment. And even on her boots, you can see they've like sculpted laces down her leather boots and everything, and they've used like a shinier paint on the costume, on like the legs and the body and stuff, to give it more of that leather look. Okay, so the figure itself, it stands about 4.5 inches tall. Scale wise, I guess it's okay. She's about roughly the same height as Batman. Batman's ears maybe stand a little bit taller, and at first I was thinking, you know, Batman should really be significantly taller, but then occurred to me, you know, she is wearing, you know, the high heel boots, which probably makes her taller. I don't really recall how much, you know, if she was that much shorter than Batman in the movie, but for the most part it seems with the heels and everything seems to be fairly accurate. And then the Penguin is a little bit shorter. Again, he's got the top hat on, so only a little bit shorter, but you know, Penguin's probably maybe a little bit too tall compared to Batman and Catwoman, but for the most part I think the scale is okay with this line. So the figure comes with one accessory, and it's her whip that you see her using in the movie. The whip is made with a leathery type material. You can see they've put some like stitch work on it to make it look like a whip, which is nice. And then they've sculpted the handle. So it looks pretty good, and it is a flexible material, so you can kind of have her hold it in different positions. Even kind of hold it in like the jump roping position that she used in the movie. Unfortunately, the whip is not, it's not like bendy wire, so it basically you can bend the whip, but it's going to go back into that pretty straight position that it comes out of the packaging in. So you can't really have it like have her wrap it unless you like tied it or something, but it doesn't really wrap around like other figures' necks or something like that very good. You can't really have her grab things with the whip like you would see her in the movie. The articulation on this figure is not the greatest. It's pretty much on par with what you would expect from the Multiverse line. If you've collected the other figures in this line, then you pretty much know what to expect with this one. The head is on ball joint, I believe, but there's no up or down movement with the head. You can only look left and right. She's got standard ball hinge joint at the shoulder, but so she does have good rotation and can get her arm all the way out at the arm. It does have a bicep swivel, single hinged elbow, and then a swivel at the glove cuff, but no wrist articulation. Has a swivel at the waist, but no kind of ab crunch of any kind. And then the legs are attached with hinge joints, and so if you want to get her to like do her leg forward, you have to make sure that the hinge is pointing forward, and then you kind of have to turn the thigh at the thigh swivel to have her leg kind of pointing straight out. She has single hinged knees, and then she does not have any kind of ankle articulation or really any articulation below the knee. And there's no swivel at the knee either. And she has two peg holes at the bottom of her feet. Okay, so that's my review. Overall, I would say unless you're like a really big Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman fan, this is probably a figure you could pass on. I'm not a huge fan of this version of Catwoman. The whole thing where, you know, the cat's licking her and she developed, you know, 9 live powers or something like that they did in the movie, I just really thought was stupid. So I was never really a big fan of this particular Batman movie or, you know, the characters in it. The figure itself, like I said, Mattel did an okay job capturing the likeness for a small-scale figure like this. But the articulation is only mediocre. Can't really get her in very good poses. And the whip, you know, is flexible, but unfortunately because it's not bendy wire, you can't really have it grab onto anything. So, like I said, unless you're like a really big Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman fan or a Batman Returns fan, I would say this one's probably one you could pass on. If you are a fan of this particular version of Catwoman or the movie in general, then you definitely, if you can find it, will probably want to pick it up. This figure should be hitting shelves now, so if you do want to get it, you should start looking for it now. And that's my review. I hope you enjoy it. Until next time, I'll catch you later.